Hi everyone, going live from Houston. So stay with us, stay tuned. So my name is Ruby. I was born in New Delhi. That's my older sister, and Nina is my niece, my sister's daughter. And it was a very unique journey for me. I didn't know at that time spirituality, but I was always looking for something more in life, so something deeper. So I remember my own birth. At age 4, I named myself Ruby because I thought that this should be my name. So my mother said that, why Ruby? Because my name was, like the other sisters were Pramila, Ravila, Sunila, and then for me it was Kapila. So she said, how can you change your name to Ruby? And I said, well, that's how people will know me. And she said, what people? So I just said, like 4-year-old, what do you know? So I still said, no, they'll be looking for me and they'll all recognize me by Ruby. So the name has to be Ruby. So it stayed Ruby Baby. So I would say early recognition. So I think this happens to all of us, but very few people actually recognize that we actually have high intuition. We have a recognition, some sense of our being, some sense of even why we're here. We may not be so conscious, we may not understand it to that degree because we are so young, but we act in ways from that knowing. But sooner or later it gets shut down. And then we start to lose the identity, lose the freedom and, our flexibility of being who we are. So that's what happened to me too. So it was normal life in Delhi, but almost had 2 lives. So one which was in my head, imagination. So who I thought I was, and I was always talking to the stars, always talking to the moon, I could talk to people who had passed away, but I thought it was all my imagination, and I thought everybody has this gift. So it wasn't a big thing. It was not till later I realized that that probably was not true. So you would look at a flower, you would know how many petals will fall, you will know weather patterns when 11 o'clock, clouds and thunderstorm, it'll clear it. So these are normal things, I think, for all children, and so it was for me, but I didn't really make too much of it. So I'm a Shiva lover, Shiva devotee, and I would just chant, and that was a journey that started and carried on till late teens. But it got really confusing in the end because I had such high intuition. So I could see people, I could read their minds, I knew what they were thinking, I had a good sense of what they had done and what was happening inside. But when they spoke differently. When they acted, they still acted differently. So to me, the world became very confusing. I didn't trust people, but I trusted nature and animals, and because I felt that this nature doesn't lie, elements don't lie. When the sun says it will be out at 11, it does come out at 11. But when a person says he'll be back at 11, he doesn't show up at 11. So as a child, it was just a journey of strange, like 2-sided life and quite confusing for me. But the search continued, and my search was not so much even when I went to the sages and the realized masters to know my future. I was not interested in my future. I just wanted to know who I was and why I was on this planet. So basically, that's the only question I had. That why am I here? Because I felt it's getting late, and shouldn't I be doing what I'm supposed to do? But who's going to tell me as to who I am and what to do? So I knew what I was doing probably was not exactly what I was born to do, but just part of the journey. Moved to Canada, and I'm highly ambitious. I wanted my outside world to match the inner world. So the inner world was really rich, very, very rich, fully lit up, and I wanted my outside world. So I indulged in many businesses. I became a diamond merchant, a wholesaler, a retailer. There's not that much that I may not have done. But somewhere along the line, the search for something inside my soul continued. It was not till 1992 when I had a full-blown realization in that the world changed. I closed down in one night all the businesses. So that Ruby had died and another one was born. So it was really strange. I didn't have living teachers. I didn't have living masters. But I could talk to a lot of masters. So it was a strange journey because it was all intuitive, all imagination. First, I would think that maybe now I've really gone crazy. But then I was getting so much proof that I thought, okay, can't be that crazy. Things are really working. So the journey from 1992 till now, I can't say, am I a healer? Am I a mystic? Am I a spiritualist? Am I just an ordinary being who loves this divine consciousness, loves people, and wants to help people? Because I hate people watching pain. I think people are in pain a lot. They don't always say it. They've got the masks, but there is their fear of death, fear of crisis, fear of chaos, fear of loss of money, loss of children, loss of health. I see that people have a lot of fear. And I think when we have fear, it's a very painful situation. We are not comfortable. We have anxiety, we have underlying chaos and nervousness all the time. Because whatever you're building, what if it is lost? So that underlying stress and that underlying fear actually holds us back from living our fullness and connecting deeper. So I felt that if I could do one thing, when I could speak to Lord Shiva and the other masters, I said, if I have to do one thing, let it be that I can remove that mask. I can break the mask. And by talking or by word or looking at people, I can awaken that divinity that I have experienced. So this was a desire, and that's what started to happen. So 1992 until now, it's 26 years. Actually, on the 6th, it was full 26 years of my awakening. So night and day, I worked with people, probably thousands and thousands and thousands, one-on-one in mass healings and stuff like that. So most of the work was in North America because I had moved to Canada when I was quite young. So first 5 years, and I just want to share this because I want you beautiful people to know that a lot of us think we don't have these gifts, but we all do. If we can connect, if we can kind of go deeper than just our physical world and external world, it's amazing what we can find because we are all DNA'd for this. So my gift is not just special to me. My message is that you can actually be very ordinary, but you can do very extraordinary things. There's a healer, there's a mystic, there's amazing stuff in us, if only we are serious enough to connect. And that's why I'm sharing this. So imagine this, after my awakening, within first 5 years, all my clients were coming from either psychiatrists or doctors. They were all referred patients. Now these people and these, say, clients, they had medical histories. So when their symptoms started to disappear, the doctors would send more people and then more people. Now I knew nothing about medicine and I knew nothing about healing. I just had love for people. In that moment when the person came in front of me, I couldn't bear the pain. So I said, why don't you do this? And this will take away the pain. But you have to make a larger plan for life. You must think big. Your dreams should be so large so you can make an impact, so you don't get lost in this world. So I would actually make sure that before I gave them the remedy or this divine formula of healing, I would say, do you promise that you will make a large dream? Whether you make money, because some people are DNA just to make money. And when they actually just focus very purely just on that, it's a spiritual journey in itself. You don't need them to meditate 10 hours, or you don't need that. Your work becomes your meditation, and your life, how you're doing it, is your spiritual practice. So now imagine thousands of people later, and these were healings, and they said, oh, Ruby's doing miracles. really, I don't know what miracles are, because when you become that divine instrument, things happen with you, through you, and upon other people. So 5 years of my life I devoted to sick people, medical community. So these were depressed, these were schizophrenic people, there were physical ailments. So what I'm saying is, and these were all scientists who didn't really believe, even College of Physicians and Surgeons wouldn't let them refer their patients to me because it's not allowed. They can't, doctors cannot in Canada refer to a non-medical person. They can say that I know so-and-so, and yes, so-and-so has helped me, she's blah, 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 you can go visit her. But they couldn't really refer. So they were all doing it under the radar, and it was quite interesting. So this was the first 5 years in Canada, and then after that I spread my wings and I traveled a lot of places in the world and just taught people how to get stronger and how to become suffering free. Because suffering, it's not that you can save people from death. It's not that you can save them for sometimes bankruptcies or divorces or whatever else. But we can absolutely reduce the suffering. So death is not scary. Your situations are not scary if you reduce the mental suffering. And the message is really clear. Whatever we are looking for is in the body. But people say, go within. So a lot of people don't know where to go within. How do you meditate? The minute you start to meditate, your mind activates and you have now 10,000 thoughts of what you haven't done, what you could have done, and what you should be doing. So we don't have split seconds, maybe we may have, of silence. So the fact that we've got this brilliant brain, brilliant mind, we can pull any memory, we can pull any imagination. There's 10,000 emotions we can pull from. Why can't we be happy? Why don't we have peace with what we have? So my question to everyone is, if there is no peace, if you still have fear, if there is still, you're looking or searching for these things, they're available in the body. Now the goal shouldn't be really to be peace, because there'll be enough peace when we are dead. There'll be enough time to be rested then. In physical life, we are just here to create something. Create phenomena, create healing, create love, create whatever. So our goals should be, what else can I do? What else should I do, rather than a good life? So I'm not so much, I find happiness is overrated a bit. I find meaningful life a lot more significant. And nobody else can create meaning, only we can. So I just want to quickly, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I just want to take a pause, and maybe before I go further, we could actually see if we have some questions, because you were suggesting that.
I was going to ask, I think we were just talking casually one day, and I was asking how do we blend the material world, like what we're doing in a worldly sense, our jobs, our parents, our family, and all of that, friends, social life, with spirituality. I've understood that, my understanding is that you blend the two and you don't make them separate. Even then, it's very challenging. So how exactly do you merge those worlds?
Yeah, there's been a lot of conditioning. We've been taught how to be and how to think. And this may be a slight downfall. Yes, it's good, but there's lots of weaknesses in that structure. So how to think, even by the way, worrying is a habit that's taught to us. It's not like you would naturally worry. We are taught. Remember your parents when you were young, don't do this. What if you do this? Well, think about it before you do it. All of those. So the worry is inherited and said. So a lot of things are trained. We are trained into believing to be true. When we come to a spiritual life, first of all, we have to examine the divisions we've created. If you look at it, at some level, there's nothing such as a materialistic life and a spiritual life. There's only one life happening for a soul. And you can define it any which way. there's only one thing that's happening. You're breathing, your brain's working. How you use that brain, you have the freedom to decide. Look at the ultimate choice. You can do nothing, you can do everything, or you can do partly something. Like, in the end, so these choices we have, so if we break down the structures and the divisions, take away that I need to be spiritual, I need to do whatever else. We just decide what's in front of me. I have this incarnation. I want to die without regret. I don't want to be left hanging with this question at death that I could have done that. I really should have done that. So if that question is going to be there, then ask yourself that question tonight, that what else should I do in my life? So if I die tonight, how would I feel? Would I die with a smile? So that's important. When we come to that, now, when you program it at that level, intention, that I want to live to the fullest without dividing the field, the universe, divine consciousness is listening. You've set the intention. That the second you set the intention that I want to live to the fullest every moment, right? At that time, situations will start to come to you. Instantly, that second, they'll align themselves. So the entire cosmos, like working for you, God working for you, goddesses working for you, like, hey, okay, let's put this first and then the second and then that. Everything gets rearranged. That second, when you pray or you set the intention, that second onwards, whatever comes, you put your full attention on that situation. Just solve that situation or challenge in front of you. Don't look for what if that happens 10 years later and what if that happens 20 years and 20 days, because we all have challenges all the time. Every day, every hour, there's mini challenge. There's a decision to be made. Now, at the fullest, your full capacity, to the best of your capacity, if you make that decision, that's all you need to do. Now, your next moment will be fulfilled because you put yourself 100% into the situation. A lot of people don't come into their situations. They're not present to the situation. They're somewhere else. Their mind is not there. So they could be doing something. Even if you're cooking, your mind is thinking of something. You are, I've seen many people, even whether healers or doctors, their mind is not into the patient. They're not listening. So let us start to listen. When we start to listen, this is the fastest way. Because sometimes it's hard to hear yourself, but you can certainly learn to listen to somebody else. So watch for the situation, start to listen, and listen with curiosity. Rather than dismissing people, rather than, oh yeah, so-and-so is defining people like that, listen to people. And then you become fully present in that situation. And then whatever you can do. Next moment will call for another situation. This is the fastest way. So you don't need a long developed path, spiritual path. You don't need mantras for this. You don't need to sit mindlessly or mindfulness anywhere. Each situation is divinely presented. You put your divine self into it, do the best you can, and done. And the next one will show up. It's really easy. It's just moving smile to smile because you're doing your best. How bad can that be, right? So make sense? It sounds easy, but it's really true. It's so practical, and try it tomorrow. But set the intention first, because that's what... Now, a lot of people are scared of challenges also. So, challenges is where we grow. So I always give this example, that, when you're making tea, you can put tea leaves in cold water. That doesn't add color to it. उसमें कोई रंग नहीं आने वाला पानी में, ठंडे पानी में. Minute you heat up the water, जितना boil करेगा उतनी ज़्यादा रंगत आएगी. So situations are like that. We actually we will meet challenges, so we can develop, we can express our inner skills. How would you ever know that you even have a lot more strength or courage if you didn't have a challenge that called for that? So challenges are to be looked forward to. They're not to be scared of. I don't know who taught us to be scared of this. Hi, padata laga, hi, all of that, right? And then everybody mimics the same language of the sphere, right? So I think it's very important. Just to recap on your question, there is no division. We don't need three lives. We have one life, we have one soul, we have one thought at a time. You cannot have three thoughts at a single second, in that split second, right? Like you cannot have two breaths going together. You will have one. So one challenge, one soul, one you deal with the one. And the next will be the one again. So now, if you still want to plug in, yes, you do have a lot of people, we want to plug into the consciousness like you charge your phones. So you should actually have the technique where you can plug in your consciousness, your smaller self, your physical self, into the cosmic force. And for that, there's quite a few fast techniques. That doesn't take hours. It's faster than your little gadgets, your iPhones. It's 5 minutes of sweet, short meditation, deep. You're not doing anything. It's just plugged in. Your consciousness through a technique is plugged in, and you can replenish and you can download whatever you need. So fast, quick techniques work for you. In this day and age, you will not be able to sit for long periods for meditation. It's not possible. The speed has changed now. Our thoughts are moving a lot faster. We are rushing. We are trying to do so many things at one time. And we are able to do a lot of things a lot faster than before. So if you think your practices will be long, drawn practices, forget it. It's not going to happen. You're going to go into some la-la land. So make it short, make it sweet, make it 100%, get out when your mind starts to move, come back. And then maybe do 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So 5 minutes is plenty at any given time. And you can do this 5 times a day. Or if you're really, really busy, you want to do it at sunrise when you wake up, you can set the programming through that. You can, and maybe I can show you tonight that technique. And then you do it in bed before you go to sleep, before you slip into bed. That's so important. A lot of your healing, a lot of your other questions are answered during your dream states. You can be fully enlightened and awakened in a dream state. Do you know that? Yeah, believe it, it's true. You can read upon many masters who are awakened in dream states. While you are sleeping, you are awakened. Isn't that phenomenal? Like, I'm always excited about this stuff. Maybe that's why I share it, because, but there are ways when you are dreaming, you actually then set the tone, especially when you go to bed. You go to bed in that maybe with this technique we'll teach, and with this vibrational zone. Now, if you want healing, you can request that. If you want another question answered, you can request that. That day or next morning, it'll be answered. It doesn't take very long. Cosmos, it's fast. It's like more, what is that? Not priority mail. What is the fastest? Express. It's faster than express. Yeah. So you'll get it very quickly. Even if you don't remember your dream, you will be acting like you've received the answer. So look at the phenomena. Look at the divine consciousness. Look at the human body and mind and the entire organism. It's absolutely magical. But if we don't know which buttons to push and to activate the magic, then life becomes sad, tiring, and suffering. And of course, there's a lot of suffering. Then it's a long, drawn thing, you know. Does that make sense? It's practical? Yeah. I'm sorry, my way is, I'm a little blunt, and I like fast things. I like to manifest things fast because I think we have the ability to do it. There's no point in slowing down when there's a timeline. You are, every breath you are getting, the breath is getting, you're getting like lesser time, lesser time, lesser time. And I hate people dying with sadness. I help a lot of people through death. And you know how painful it is? They'll keep calling that, please do something. So there's no panic. The person is in peace. So why should we have to do healing for them to die, to be at peace? Why can't we live with peace? Like, now, this is what never used to make sense, and that's why I guess I started the search and went deeper and deeper. So if everybody here has a great plan, larger than life, perfect. If not, add. I'll tell you another secret. The universe is not going to be that interested in you if you have just small desires. Because that you can do yourself. You don't need big help. You're okay. Your neighbors will help you, so whatever. But when you put a big plan there, right? A big plan, all of a sudden, you will start to activate that much more force, that much more energy. Even those people who don't have energy start to actually feel a lot more energy. You can wake up with a lot more energy. So you can fulfill that divine, plan of yours. So it's really the shorter you set your goals, the more misery there is in life. The bigger you can set it, and I'm not saying that you have to conquer the world, you have to do this. How about just this, that I'm just going to remain at peace and I'm going to actually just spread joy or silence? There's so much talk. That could just be, the world needs silence. We need silence because we are just so busy, so rushed, and our children, and have you seen how active the children are, hyperactive these days? Yeah. So if adults decided to hold the silence, your intention somewhere in the world, some child will be at peace if you can hold your peace. Adults have so much power. So if you want to help your future generations rise to the top, then start to govern your mind at least, because they will rise. They won't have the challenges we did. Passing a legacy of real estate or whatever else you want to, your name, okay, but it's dirt into dirt after a while. Honestly, it is. But if you can create, along with that, a legacy, a spiritual legacy of courage and strength and boldness and awakened mind and body, isn't that the most powerful gift? Imagine the role of parents these days. You are absolutely capable of doing that. That could be a great goal. And if you need help, there are people like me who will help you night and day. All you have to do is ask. It's really simple. Yeah? So any other questions? I can talk on this for days and days, so just ask your questions. So.
I have a question. What's your understanding of God?
What do you want God to be?
Well, I guess it's this idea that, I guess I'm just wondering, do you think that there is this bigger force that we are calling God as the ultimate creator of souls?
Well, you've partly answered it yourself. See, however I define God, if it's not in your system, it's not going to fit. So it's very important that you define God. Everybody should define God themselves. Because one person defining, you'll have challenges with my thought, because that's just my experience. And that's my personal take on it, right? Now, it doesn't matter whether I call it consciousness, whether I call it God, whether I call it the cosmic force, whether I call it Shiva, whether I call it whatever, right? Each person, I think that is beautiful relationship that you can create with divine consciousness by naming it, giving it a name first, and then falling in love with that name. So I really don't want to rob you by telling you what my thought is, because you'll start to mimic it. If it doesn't fit yours, you will have conflict. So I'd rather that people define this relationship with the universe, with God themselves, and make it again larger than what you think. So, because the downside of somebody describing God is that now this is it. So everything that's not that is not God then. And that's a very violent thought for me. I never want to go there. I think everything is divine consciousness, how we use it. Everything has to be at some point inclusive, right? So write it out. It'll be really interesting. Make it what you want it to be, because it's your best relationship in an incarnation. Your relationship with divine is more important than anything else, because it guides you. When we have relationships with people, people have morality issues, ethics, and right and wrong. You know how right and wrong morals have also changed, value systems have changed. At one time, divorces were not accepted. A lot of things weren't accepted. Now, no big deal. Not getting along, don't need to suffer, move on, kind of deal. So a lot of issues and a lot of things have changed in our world. So in these changing times, I think what happens is when we have a concept of God, that God is this, then we start to see all other things as immoral and ungodly. And then we start to define those people who believe that way ungodly. And then we become violent because we want to protect our God and they want to protect their God, and the world is suffering already. We've been suffering for ages with this phenomena and this crisis of who is God and what does God look like. So I think it's time that we each set our own, but the relationship has to be most profound and most beautiful. Also, when you set the relationship, remember that if there's 7 billion people on this planet, each one has their God in their pockets. So let us not convince each other what God is. Everybody has the right to define it themselves. So if I want to love my God and whatever I believe it to be, then give the freedom to other people to enjoy and define theirs. So define yours, and whatever freedom you take for yourself, you must share it with others. Otherwise, it's not fair, it's not fun. Right? Any other?
Yeah, I know what is divine, but how we can become divine? What you're supposed to do and what we're supposed to do. What is the meaning of divine?
Yeah, truly. When we come to language actually right away it's not quite inclusive. And we all suffer at the hands of language. So I think, again, like her question, that you really have to, you probably meditate, you probably pray, right? In those states, how does it feel to you? What is your experience?
Feel happy.
Happy, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you're open to the world, your heart is open?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time, you're not thinking of what is right, what is wrong, you're just present in that state of being.
Yes.
You've centered yourself. Okay, so you can define divinity then as that. Have to just go with your own experiences, because it's so hard otherwise, These are lovely words, but in the end they mean very little, honestly. They really do, because we can. So we'll get to that state. Everybody has had that experience of blissfulness and totally centered. It's sometimes just split second, but we have it. Because the quietest place in us is the physical body. If you're centered in the mind, it's a noisy place. There's a lot of traffic, right? Thinking and whatever else. But the quietest place is the human body. And when you center yourself, even through practice, even the tongue, if you focus on the tongue for a few seconds, you'll become quiet. Few minutes on the heart, you'll actually really feel very expanded, and you will feel that I'm beyond this human body. All of a sudden, I've wings and I've spread out. So when you go into these states, in these states, actually, you can experience. So what we are talking of God, divine, they are something to be experienced. And unless we have that experience, it's impossible to cap it any other way. And when the experience comes, then we'll do it today after a while, And then we don't have the question anymore once the direct experience comes.
guess I'm trying to frame my thoughts into a question, but like, I think I'm getting better at, it's like just how you're talking about staying into a state of beingness and present in that moment, whatever's in front of me. Yeah, and it's kind of like I was like learning how to drive a car. Once you understand the rules of the universe of going into the state of beingness and then doing, right, rather than doing and then the state of beingness. And like everyone probably has their technique. I have mine to kind of center myself. When I'm there, boy, it's just I am there. But still, it feels like it's hard to get balanced or just get tired, or you still feel not balanced overall. But I'm there. You have 3 kids. You're working, patients, whatever, right? And when I'm there, I'm there. But just always, I guess, heaviness comes. I think at some point when you're in a world of healing or something like that, when you're helping people, at the end you just feel heaviness or something. I think is the best way to describe it. And I mean, you feel blissed out. You even touch one soul, right?
But you feel heavy after that.
Comes, like in the next day, just I have to do something like to kind of, whether it's sadhana or something, just to kind of center myself, set my intention for the day, to be loving, to be whatever. But it feels. I'm guessing, hoping, I don't know if it helps other people too, but just finding that balance. I think everyone has their way of centering themselves. I think I'm getting better, but that's
So,
my struggle.
okay, so our heads are a very busy place, very
Right.
active place. So when you have mustered up through mantras or through prayers or meditation, the energy is coming up, okay? At that time, it can hit the head and it's already tired, or the neck, this base and all of that. So a lot of people become heavy when they do meditation, and the deeper they go, they find they can't come out easily out of that. There's a tiredness. So for that, you actually want to, after your meditation or after whatever you've done, use a color. It's quite easy to do it with a color. So you can imagine blue color or rainbow color. Now take this energy from the head like a ball and bring it down to the soles of the feet. So put all the energy back into the feet. Don't let it remain here. Because if you have not done work on your auric field, so if your aura is not expanded, it's a bit inverted. And it will affect this area a lot. So it's best to put the energy in the feet and then out 7 feet, just throw it into, or more, 7 feet minimum, into the universe. Now you have room to, it feels better. Yeah. Otherwise, people get headaches and they actually get tired. They'll go to sleep in a meditation. They can't hold the energy. A lot of people actually just zone out. Yeah, because they're tired. So try that. That'll help. Yeah.
Deep.
Can you guide us into meditation?
Yeah, sure. What would you like to experience?
Just not thinking anything, nothingness.
Okay. Okay, let me do, I'll give you a choice. And you guys can decide. I could do a meditation that will actually align the body. So your other meditations are much better. And you'll get more synchronized. You'll have deeper experience. It's deeper meditation. It takes about 13, 14 minutes, maybe up to 15. But it's actually quite deep. And since it's a very auspicious day, it's given to me by Maharishi. It's very popular. It's done with rainbow light. So we have to imagine rainbow light, and there's a sound that we will all repeat, and you'll see the effect. We can do that, and in the end, I can ask for blessing for each and every person, for whatever intentions you put. So you can start with your intentions, and I can do that blessing in that. Or I could show you something to silent yourself, which is 5 to 7 moments, but that you can find on YouTube too. If you Google me, you'll find me on YouTube. So which one would you rather have? Yeah, I thought so. I wasn't going to do the second one anyways. I was just trying to see how ambitious you are. So, okay, so let's go. Let's do it. It is very powerful, so you will love this one. So if you are sitting with your, you can either go in that yoga position or feet on the floor, absolutely planted. Or like you're sitting is fine. Spine should be straight. I was prepared a long time for this meditation. It was given to me in Kerala 9 years ago. It's very powerful healing meditation. Hands on your thighs. We will use rainbow light. I'll guide it. If you lose me anywhere, join me wherever, you can. If you cannot imagine, some people are not quite visual, so they cannot imagine the rainbow light. If you cannot see the rainbow light, just pretend it's that. If you cannot pretend, don't worry. It's still working for you. So don't get, mujhe to blue light nazar aa rahi hai, and what do I do? And you'll never be lost because I'm here right now. So I'll be present for you. And I won't let you sleep either or get tired. Yeah, maybe, or that's up to you. If it'll, just one light off maybe, not all.
You can just do it.
Yeah. The sound we will use, there's twice we will repeat the sound, and twice in the meditation. And in this sound, we use not Om, but the sound of Ma. So Ma, Khinchke, you have to say. When we repeat the sound, I'll say, raise your hands. You will take your hands from here. You'll put them here. And you will chant with me 3 times, Ma, loud and clear. And that magnifies the force, that grounds you a lot more. And that creates a much deeper healing effect. This particular meditation is with Ma. Okay. So, so yes, absolutely put a nice smile on your face, because we ain't going anywhere without that smile. Our journey doesn't begin. You don't know who you'll meet there, so better look your best. And plus, if I open my eyes, you better be smiling, because I'll have to look at you otherwise. Okay, so no serious stuff. This is like a child. Just become that child, imagining, pretending, and we will reach the highest of the highest divine states today. So take a nice deep breath, head to toe, almost touching your toes. And repeat this 2 times. In this moment, I ask for the guides, for all of you, your guides, your forefathers, your spiritual guides from any past life at all, present life, past life, let them be present for you. Let this room be filled with angels, light beings, enlightened beings. I also ask that each and every person here receive the way they need to. Those who can hear, let them hear. Those who can see, let them see. Those who can experience, let them experience their own soul consciousness, divine consciousness today. So we are fully protected, fully safe, absolutely guided. You have nowhere to go, nothing to see, no one to meet, so be fully present now. Make a promise to yourself, you will not be hijacked by thoughts, visions, other things. You will remain alert, present, conscious. I want you to visualize beautiful rainbow light on top of the crown, vibrant, healing light of the masters. The master healers themselves have offered this light today. Let it come down into the head, but first the left side of the brain. So left side of the head. You have trillions of cells. Let each cell receive this rainbow light. You can feel it like a cool, healing liquid light filling up left side of the head. So take a moment to experience this. Visualize this light coming down the right side, right head, right brain. With your mind's eye, make sure both sides are equally lit, well balanced. Light and weight should be the same, both sides of the brain, the head. Great, you're doing very well. Let this light go down into the body, into the neck, left shoulder, then right shoulder. Both shoulders to be equally lit, well balanced. Neck is straight. Shoulders filled with light, rainbow light. Shoulders will drop, let them drop. Just melt into your being. Beautiful. Allow this light to go down the back, the front, and then into the hips, left hip, right hip. Let this light fill both sides of the hips, both hips. Hips may become heavy, you may feel heavy, sinking into the chair or the ground. Head aligned to shoulders, shoulders to hips. And now let the light come down the legs into the feet. Left foot, right foot. Both feet getting heavy. Activated with this rainbow light. You may feel resonance or presence or movement in the feet. It's all okay. Allow this light to come down the shoulders into the arms. Left palm, right palm, awakening the healing centers in the center palm. Now imagine rainbow light, head to toe, fully vibrant light throughout the body, flowing throughout the body. And in this moment, we set the intention, I want to live my fullest life. I want every experience to be full and soulful. I want to be true to my soul promise, my soul script. Whatever I am meant to do in this incarnation at this time, let it come to me now. I am ready and prepared to live divinely. All trillions of cells in your body lit up, glittering, glowing. Raise your arms, palms are facing you. Nice deep breath each time. We'll repeat the sound of Ma 3 times, loud and clear. One more time. Bring your arms down, resting them in the same place. Palms are up. Feel the energy, the resonance already in the body. Energy does not stop in your body. Consciousness does not stop where your skin stops. It's everywhere. You are not just in the body. Your awareness is everywhere. You are the limitless space in which thoughts come and go, feelings come and go, sensations come and go. You are the space in which ideas come, inspiration comes, and then dissolves when it is no longer needed. Because you are the space, the conscious space in which everything happens, you're able to see the thoughts. You're able to experience the feelings. You're able to be the observer because you are the space. Put your focus on the heart. You can be connected with the biggest, the largest electromagnetic field and expand your consciousness. Rhythmic breathing, which means equal inhale, equal exhale. Gently breathe into the heart. As you do so silently, I will do a quick chant to initiate the healing. To remain in purity and silence. Oh. Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiv. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Imagine receiving a flower from your soul masters, your guides, your gurus. The flower is placed on your palm. Experience the gentleness, the freshness of the petals, the softness, the suppleness. And feel this freshness in you. Let it spread in you. Your entire being filled with this fresh, supple gentleness. Let your heart be open. Open it to yourself. Give yourself permission to live the best life possible. When you give yourself permission to be the best, others will do the same. Now smell the fragrance. Imagine smelling the fragrance of this flower, and let that fragrance spread in your entire being. Let the color also spread in your being. Your being is covered, filled with the colors of the petals, the fragrance of the flower. Forgive yourself for what you think you may have done wrong. Forgive yourself for not remembering who you are. Forgive yourself for not honoring your soul first. Forgive yourself for everything that you feel you need to. Now feel the love of your God, your guides. Pure love. Offer it to your guides. Offer it to the children of the world first. Let your love reach every child. Let there be no child without a smile. Let the children be protected, be safe, be looked after, be loved. Send this soul love to each other, to friends, family, to people in the city, in the country, in the world. Remembering your intention is enough. Your love will heal someone, somewhere on this planet. Send this love into the cosmic worlds. There's so many worlds open to us. Let the doors be open today to all those worlds. Let the love go into the unknown and bring back more love to you. Imagine all this light and love coming into your being, into your heart, into your soul, into your body. Every cell is being filled with this love that has come back to you. This is the state you want to be in when communicating or asking for healing, communication with others, with God. This is the quiet stillness where miracles happen. Your intentions manifest in this space. So lift your arms again. In closing, we'll do 3 rounds of Ma again. Rub your hands. You can open your eyes and watch me, and 3 times you want to go head to toe, touching yourself, blessing yourself, sealing your aura. This is your protection against all kinds of things that don't fit your soul, don't fit your situations. 3 times. And if you have pains and aches, you can actually just do this and keep your hands on that area later. Okay, how is it? Did everybody get there? Yeah? So we can just spend a few minutes to, if there's experience. This is called Dharan Kriya. It's, if you look me up, you will have this. It's actually 18 minutes, the longer version. That's very profound. And people who are sick or depressed or not feeling well, or want to actually create the next best, They should do it once a day at least 7 days regularly, and more, till they start to receive strong healing. This will trigger in your dream states, you'll start to get a lot of help. It's a very powerful Kriya. So anybody else? Anybody, how was it?
I'm very energized.
Pardon?
I feel very energized.
Energize, yeah.
I think even my vision is clear.
Vision is clear, yeah. It's crazy how it, yeah. There's so many, when we do these healings, so many people with such problems, chronic problems, they'll say, pain chala gaya, wo theek ho gaya, ye theek ho gaya. It's like the body, when it's synchronized, all the trillions of cells, imagine, come together, and they're synchronized, and they're aligned, and you're the master of those trillions of cells. You're commanding them through this Kriya. Imagine what they do for you. They start to produce for you, and they're going to deliver their best. So look at our power, the human being, like trillions of cells, like how much power we have, atomic power in these cells. And it's phenomenal, the human life, phenomenal. So even gods come on these planets in physical bodies to experience this power and to create phenomena. And why can't we? Why can't we? And this is our power. But these are the states. This is where. So you don't do prayers with a tired mind. Yo, the world is doomed, so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but that doesn't work. Your aura is already really tight. You're even scared. You know how many times you pray and then you have fear that the prayer won't be answered? How many times? That what if it doesn't come true, right? So we have fear when we have so much faith. That doesn't make sense, but that's true. We have faith. Well, if you have faith, why should you have fear? So decide on one. Either you have faith or you have fear. So first thing is to be honest with yourself. Now I have fear. Okay, I believe in God, but I have fear. What should I do? Now you can start to get help, right? So we have this power. We can do so much. My only message take home here is that you can do what you want. You are the God of your little life, this incarnation. You are the master of your mind. It's not possible that you cannot control the mind. Either you have not learned how, or you're not interested because you're liking your pastime life. We get addicted to this crazy life. It's quite addictive, right? And so I think if we're not performing at this level I'm talking about, then make up your decision that you can do it. You don't need too many techniques. Intention is enough for you. Yeah. ये possible नहीं है कि मुझे तो ज़्यादा सोच आ रही है, मुझे तो वो नहीं आ रहा. Well, maybe next time when I come, I have to show you how to stop a thought, how to create a thought, and only have a thought when you need a thought. आपके घर में alarms लगे हुए हैं, कोई आ सकता है without your permission? चोर करके आप भागोगे पीछे उसके. You won't allow anything to happen in this space. So why this space is so open to everything? That doesn't make sense. So we have to ask these questions and we have to start to implement that force. This ain't happening in my watch, on my watch. Nothing slips here till I want it to come in, right? So those are the powerful decisions we can all make. So I would like to ask you, a few at least, what is your take home today? What do you find कि आपको एक चीज़ अच्छी लगी जो करी या सुनी, ताकि कि at least one thing you can take home and that could trigger the whole effect also. So what do you feel?
Set your intention and make it too big.
Yeah.
And that's my take home.
Okay. So write it down. Oh, I noticed you have. Pretty smart. You don't waste time. I was like this too. I still do it.
I also really like the fact that you said it doesn't take time.
It doesn't take
5 minutes, that's all you need. Because that's a big struggle with meditation and everything. I'm like, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
I can give 5 minutes.
Huh.
But I also feel, this is my experience, that everything is very quick. It's not, I don't think that even the divine takes time. You know, you put your intention out there and it happens really quick.
It happens on the spot.
It happens very
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
And so, you know, this whole thing, it never made sense
Yeah.
to sit there and meditate. I mean, it's not happening for me. That's why I tell people, I cannot meditate, not that way. It's
Yeah.
not, that's not me.
Yeah.
It's not happening, but I like your point.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
very
sh-
happy to hear that. I'm so happy.
You're welcome. I'll share a phenomena with you, and this you'll probably relate to it. So sometimes we get good healing. Our prayer karte hain, you are praying for, you're asking God, God is your parent, your lover, and you're saying hame ye do, shanti do, and it's delivered on the spot. आपके मुंह से word निकला तो आ गया. आपके मुंह से word ही इसलिए निकला because okay, watch, I've got it. When I say something, I know I've already gotten it. वो फिर देरी नहीं है. But what stops you from experiencing कि मुझे नहीं मिला अभी तक? Because आपकी memory जो है ना जिसमें उसमें वो इतनी strong बन गई है कि ऐसे कैसे मिल सकता है, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, वो क्यों हो सकता है? That pain memory has become very strong now. So when you do healing on someone, on the spot, there's no pain, but the first thought they get is कि देखता हूँ pain है या नहीं. And now they're looking for the pain with the memory of the pain. And they will imagine it and create it. So they're back to the pain memory. You know how many times you do a surgery, you fix something, and people are still walking with the limp because memory abhi bhi wahi hai. So we have to, that's why the prophets, the sages said, be present. आपकी memory में past life से कितना कुछ होगा, pleasure होगा, pain होगा, but somehow we have stuck on to the pain and suffering. There's some martyrdom in our human culture कि उसने तो बेचारी ने बहुत suffer किया. Suffering has become huge. कि जितनी ज़्यादा suffering करोगे उतने ही शायद noble बन जाओगे. Well, not true. It doesn't happen. Suffering seizes, it blocks you, it freezes you. It'll never let you get ahead, right? And it's just fear-based. Pain मैं समझती हूँ, death मैं समझती हूँ, cancer मैं समझती हूँ, पर डर उसके बारे में हो वो नहीं मैं समझती. Because जब आपको पता ही है death तो है ही, it's eternal truth. Human body, yes, cells will play havoc. They will one day this, one day that, blah, blah, blah. All in the game. So let's just play the game fully, right? So when the memory we have to watch, जो आपकी memory painful है, कि नहीं ऐसे तो हो ही नहीं सकता, मेरे साथ तो कभी हुआ ही नहीं, उसकी तो lucky ठीक नहीं है, ये नहीं है. Then you bring on the memory. So you can do the healing and the meditation, but instantly the memory is way stronger than your belief that you can heal yourself. And that's why it doesn't work for people. Even when making money, they'll say, okay, I can't get that business, I can't make the money, I can't make the next move, because they actually believe it's not going to be easy now. And the memory of what has happened in the past actually is much stronger than your current experience, what you're creating. So we are able to manifest everything on the spot. The minute you decide this, किसी का call आ सकता है, you may read something, you may hear it on the news. Now you follow it. Because you've asked for it, तो follow तो आपको करना पड़ेगा. You have to, see another deception we have कि किस्मत में होगा तो मिलेगा. किस्मत किसने लिखी है? Who? So you have to examine, you have to climb up and look behind कि creator कौन है, ये seer कौन है, ये observer कौन है. This is our responsibility. We must know at least this की creator, like ये thoughts की कहाँ से आ रही हैं, right? So when we actually go deeper and deeper, we'll say, okay, ये तो एक game ही था, मुझे किसी ने rules नहीं बताए. तो rules नहीं पता थे, इसलिए हम बेवकूफ बनते रहे. So once somebody tells you the rules, there's no that. If, even in the spiritual karmic field, if you don't know the rules, there is no negative karma you can have. But once you are informed by a master ki rule ye hai, then you do it, now you're responsible for that.
Explain that to us again.
So in the physical world,
So right now, so after this, now we're responsible?
absolutely, absolutely.
So those people,
Yes. How many people? I have now witnesses. Some. And how clearly I described it. So, and I make it so simple and so practical. And so, you know, sometimes it's so simple that people believe, oh, kya kar rahi hogi, blah, blah, blah. We've heard this before, but not really. I'm a living testament of that how awakening happens, even without masters, but they're all there. I'll tell you another good news right now. Sare spiritual masters, sare prophets, sare angels, everybody who's who in the spiritual field is present today on this planet. There's this huge awakening taking place, huge. You will see it in little kids, the brilliant minds they're coming with, you know. It's just, and look at the development in every field. पुराने ऋषि सारे साइंटिस्ट बन के आ गए अब कोई मेडिकल फील्ड में रेवोल्यूशन आ रहा है कोई वहाँ आ रहा है all these old rishis are back. They're all now taking births, incarnations to be on the physical. You have to be on the physical planet. And if you demand that power, it's yours. It's their job. Guru की job क्या होती है? एक ही job होती है, to awaken. उसको कोई और नौकरी नहीं है, एक नौकरी है उसकी, उसको awaken करना है आपको. That's why they're present. They're all here. This time round, every who's who is present. All you have to do is ask. Grand awakening, it's master awakening. लोग जो भूल चुके हैं, you know, Buddha, I love that. Buddha said, and that's where he brought in meditation. He said, don't try and be a student every life. What if you were a master? So do meditation. Do the technique so you can awaken your knowledge जो आपने पहले से achieve किया हुआ है. उसका क्या फायदा कि मैं रोज सुबह उठ के भूल जाऊं कि मैं कौन हूं? There's got to be some techniques to keep my memory intact. So one life to the other life, you can actually awaken that memory. Achanak, where did I get this download? 1992, October 6th, I went to sleep in a different world and woke up in a different world. Whereas it didn't matter wo Bible thi, wo kaun sa granth tha, I could actually tell you exactly what was said, kya kaha tha, kya kiya hoga, us master ka kya role tha. Like, where did this come from? All this knowledge is available to us. So we just have to basically create, our responsibility is to manage the organism, और वो जो lights हैं, वो switch वो on करने हैं. And kriyas are your switches. Kriyas are techniques. We don't get anywhere without a technique. You need a technique.
Auntie, can we talk a little bit more about fear? You know, true masters say it's about embracing fears and moving through your fears rather than trying to, you know, avoid them. And some people say the ultimate fear is rooted in the fear of death, right?
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate of all fear, because if you've conquered that fear, pretty much you have no other fear to worry about. And so I understand that when someone's experienced that, you know, they have those out-of-body experience, near-death experiences, and they come back and tell you stories, wow, it's so blissful, wow. So I understand that for people in our real, like, I guess normal people who've not had that experience, right? How do we just tell them to fear not? It's just, you know, hey, you're not the body, you know, this is all illusion, dream within a dream. It's easy to words to understand and it makes sense, right? But for people who've not had that experience or existential experience, you know, how can they just accept that too, as that, you know, it's, you know, hey, it's just a game, it's going to be over.
I'm going to throw something. I'm going to throw something at you. They're stats.
Yeah.
People are less fearful of death than they are of public speaking. Did you know that? Public speaking is number one fear. Stage pe jana, logon ke samne khade hona, it's like going naked. You know, it's actually, the stats show that public speaking is bigger, it's a bigger fear than death. People are not actually scared of death. If you talk to a dying person, उनको डरने से नहीं है, वो मरने से डर नहीं है, उनको डर है suffering से. It's actually suffering. And then some attachments, कि वो मेरे बेचारे बच्चे या मेरे इतने पैसे या whatever, right? So somewhere along the line, if you are living situation to situation, you don't get attached to anything so much because you're full on into the situation. आप एक चीज कर रहे हो, चाहे आप कॉफी बना रहे हो, आप पूरे दिल से दिमाग से होश से बना रहे हो और फिर आप कुछ और करते हो और फिर आप कुछ और करते हो फिर कोई चैलेंज आता है लाइफ इज ओनली सिचुएशंस एंड सिचुएशंस एंड सिचुएशंस देखिए फिर कोई कॉल करेगा फिर कुछ होगा you are just moving from situation to situation so when you are 100% in you're not using your mental energy us way se that way you're not worrying at all there's no room to worry you're actually absorbing सारी वो energy आपकी force बन के physical world में जा रही है so fear is actually if that happens then one thing you can do you have to basically examine it so if you're afraid of something then examine it read on it किसी को expert से बात करो specialist से बात करो I deal with a lot of people who are very sick so they have this fear ki yoga so I always say okay go to your specialist talk to your doctor ask questions पूछो उसके बारे में knowledge इकट्ठा करो knowledge जब आएगा तो fear remove हो जाएगा जितनी देर तक आपके पास वो knowledge information नहीं आती आप fearful रहोगे whether it's a case whether it doesn't matter so you have to take that step ki okay what can I do to talk to someone to get more information what can I do to get some more knowledge right so convert your fear and even confusion and doubt when you have confusion and doubt that's only because you have so many choices that's where your doubt comes in ye karu which one should I take what if this happens that's well it's lovely place to be because you've got great choices and lots of options and it's good news agar aapke paas itni choices hain but side effect is doubt right because we want to be perfectionists ki sab kuch perfect karna well who says you're perfect and being perfect is totally outdated it's out of fashion there kab isko to use bhi nahi karna chahiye word and if we have it in our system we must throw it out because nobody ever will be perfect right because it's only you who's defining your perfectionism then morning you don't feel good you say wo to perfect nahi tha so you define perfect ki ye perfect hai then you define ki perfect nahi tha to ye to sara illusion hai perfectionism hai and we lose relationships we lose jobs we lose power and force and so much just because of this phenomena it's just delusion so you have to examine ki ye mujhe khayal aaya okay let's put the khayal here I'm not going to put it at the back I'm going to read on it I'm going to ask two people who are specialists in this field and I'm going to talk about it and learn this and when you learn it you will have no fear of that you have no fear this fear is actually passed on is inherited by word ये डर के रहो ये मत करना वो होगा ये डर हमें इंड्यूस किया है हमारे पेरेंट्स if we stop scaring our kids today वो बच्चे ठीक रहेंगे वो fear का नाम भी नहीं लेंगे 10 साल में we were taught how to be कि डर के रहो थोड़ा you know बहुत consequences होंगे नहीं तो so we are afraid so it has to be examined yeah
हम लोग के ऑरास चेंज हुए हैं कि आफ्टर डूइंग मेडिटेशन
आपको कैसा लग रहा है एक्चुअली मैं आप धारण क्रिया करेंगी ना
जी
अगर आपको अपना शक्ल भी बदलना है और ये स्किन वगैरह I'm not putting down the anti-aging stuff but it'll give you a great facelift so you do it you take a picture पहले अपनी photograph selfie do you like taking a selfie हर एक को इतना तो बनता है सेल्फी तो बनती है या यू हैव टू हैव प्राइड इन योर फेस एटलीस्ट सो यू हैव टू आप सेल्फी लो या किसी और से खिंचवाओ और उसके बाद आप 21 दिन ये क्रिया करो बट नाउ बाय वर्ड डोंट पुट योर सेल्फ डाउन डोंट पुट अपनी किस्मत को आप यहाँ से बोल रहे हो सबसे पहले कौन सुन रहा है कान No, it doesn't even go outside. Your body gets it and the body says, oh, bad luck. And how does it feel bad luck के साथ associate होती है feeling की वो फट से नीचे चली जाती है कि कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So you yourself hear, your body hears it. Imagine telling a child कि you have bad luck, you'll never get there, you'll never do this. मेरी तो किस्मत ही ठीक नहीं थी, ये था वो था, or so and so. And how will that child ever be healthy? So how will your body and mind be healthy if you keep repeating this, feeding this type of communication? So आपको 21 दिन you have to wear something to remind you. आपने वो पहना है सुंदर, so it's red color डाल दो उसमें, so that you have something.
Yes.
So it'll remind you. And then 21 दिन के बाद फिर selfie ले लेना and send it to all of us. And you'll see aura का क्या होता है.
Is because of the aura or?
You will actually shift your consciousness totally. It'll expand. It's usually we can go 7 feet if we are not really doing something very wrong. But 7 feet is not enough for intuition awareness के लिए. We need more. We need a lot more. We need to be like the sun. We really need to spread out. तो और खुद उसकी आप ये बीमारियाँ कम, you repeated thinking won't happen so much. Because जितना वो कम होगा उसी जगह. So there's a 5-minute kriya, it's called the Blue Miracle. पढ़ी हमारे उस पे है. It actually, it's pretty good. But you know, next time I come, I'll do some work on aura.
When are you coming next time? That's my question.
Okay.
Be in the moment.
Actually, I could probably, because I'm going to India. I go for about 5-6 months to India or Asia. So obviously to avoid Canadian winters. So,
You can avoid Canadian winters by coming to Houston.
yeah, you know, I've been thinking of that. What the hell? I go to India, itni dur. Kabhi Dubai, kabhi Goa, or maybe Houston is the answer. Yeah, my sister was saying that. Ki, look, or my daughter actually today, ki, it's so beautiful
Maybe they should
here.
get here.
You should think, yeah, maybe get a small place like an ashram and just live there or something. Yeah, possible. Yeah.
You can make our houses, ashram.
Acha,
We
acha.
have to have it.
How sweet.
You don't need to have your own space.
I'm an easy guest actually. I'm a happy guest. So,
We can testify to that.
okay.
We actually don't want her to go. We're like, we didn't want her to go to Nina's. We're like, can we
Yeah. You say, can you just stay the whole? So probably soon. But I'm on Facebook, very alert. I do these Facebook Lives very often. I'm going to actually turn this one off now because it's